Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's been a while since I've been on here. I just recently got a new webcam. That's not the best, but it'll do. I feel this morning when I woke up, I have seen lately here like children who are basically allowed to listen to rock music, and I've seen their actions. You know, it's to me, it's like what you put in your child, which will get out. And you hear parents say, "Well, I don't know why in the world my child's acting this way, or I don't know why my child's acting that way." Well, if you're putting in the world in your child, then you will get the world out of your child. If you're putting a godly bringing in your child, then you will get a godly way out of your child. Your child reacts to what it sees and what it does, and I just want to say, to all of you guys that if you want to see a child being obedient instead of disobedient, then you need to start putting obedient, worthy things in your child's view, sight, and his ears. Such as, instead of when your child is at home from school, instead of letting them listen to rock music that, it's got a beat to it, it feels good. It's not about giving the flesh pleasure, which is what a lot of people do. They give the flesh pleasure instead of, allowing the word of God to be ministered. Like you listen in the background here at my house, you hear music playing. It's godly music. It's on my satellite. I have DirecTV. It's channel 828, and it's called Hallelujah. And I really like this music. It really it's a real good it's music. There's some groups on there I don't care much for, but it's okay. The music itself, when you are listening to it, it gives you a message from God. Now I know a lot of people say, well, how do you get that? Well, basically because if you think about it, okay, um, each of these songs have a sermon. I believe if a song is given to an artist to write, then God has given a message or a sermon to that artist to write it. Now, one of my favorite groups is McCamey's, and then I also like Vestal Goodman, Dottie Rambo. I like the old Southern type music. I don't care much for the New Age stuff. A lot of people like listening to Toby Mac. I don't really care for Toby Mac. I really don't care for him because I believe he's a little bit too rock and roll for me. I mean, if I didn't come to God to continue living in my worldly ways. And when I first came to the Lord, I was listening to I was trying to find music. Like I went and found this one group, this one woman who was like Alanis Morissette. I tried to find someone who sung like Madonna. I wanted to basically move over to my Christian life with taking the same kind of format of music in with me. And you can't do that. You really cannot do that. When you come to the Lord, you got to leave that past behind. And before I came to the Lord, I really could not stand the song Amazing Grace. I think because I didn't understand, I didn't know what grace was. And the thought of the song Amazing Grace scared me because the only time I ever heard it was at funerals. And when I came to the Lord, that's one of my favorite songs now is Amazing Grace because I know what it is to be lost, to be found. I know that I'm that wretched, I'm that wretch that was saved by the grace of God through Jesus Christ and the blood on the cross. You know, to know that you are a child of God, it makes a lot of difference in your life. Do I attend church? And if you want to ask, yes, I do. I do go to a church now. However, I won't get to go today. It's 8:20 a.m. on January the 29th, 2017. Today I won't be able to go to church because it's kind of bad. It's really cold here where I live at. It's like in the 20s. And I don't take Jason out when it's too cold because I don't want him to, he's got a pin in his ankle and he's also handicapped. And also where we go to church at, there's a hill you have to climb with the car. And I have some bad tires on my car and I need to have brake work done. So I'm going to wait till I get my income tax, Lord willing, and I'm going to have my car worked on after I finish paying it off and a few other things because I believe when you're blessed with stuff, it's to help you to get things done. I have seen a lot of people who are, I'm trying to think here. I've seen a lot of people who are gung-ho. So getting back to what I was talking about, just let you guys know where I'm at right now. But getting back to what I was saying, I've seen a lot of people here lately that are gung-ho about letting their children watch worldly movies with cussing in them. You know, if you're allowing your child to sit in front of the TV and listen to a bunch of filthy mouthed actors that have no respect even for themselves, because if they had respect for themselves, they wouldn't be allowing themselves to be a part of a movie that is, you know, basically they wouldn't allow themselves to be a part of a movie or anything that is basically selling themselves. And that's, if you listen to a lot of rock artists, they'll tell you they sold their soul to the devil. In movies, it's the same way. I mean, you can't turn on a television show that don't have a sodomite on it, you know, a sodomite life on it. I mean, you know, a lot of people say, well, they watch it on TV, the world's accepting it. Well, you know, just because the world accepts it, God doesn't accept it. God says, be ye separate from the world. How can you be separate from it if you're living like it and living, you know, living for it? You know, I mean, we are in this world, but we're not of this world. When we give our lives over to Jesus Christ, we have to change our outlook. We have to change our likes and dislikes. How do we do that? By allowing Jesus to turn us around. When you come to the Lord Jesus Christ, ask Him to turn you around. Because, you know, it's not, we can't do it ourselves. We cannot do it ourselves. No matter how much we try, we cannot do it ourselves. We have to allow Jesus Christ to do it. That means giving Him full authority over our body, over our mind, over our soul, and over our strength. You know, there's times I feel so weak. Like a few minutes ago, I wanted to lay down. I was really tired. I wanted to lay down and go back to sleep for a little while, which I probably still will for a little while, because I usually do when I take my morning meds. But, you know, to get back to what I was saying, I just feel like we need to allow God to do His will and not us trying to do our own. You know, there's a lot of times people don't think about anything but themselves. I mean, they try to think, you know, what can I do to make my life better? What can I do to make my life? You know what? How can you make your life better? By forgetting yourself. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'm depressed and I'm this, I'm that. You know what? One thing I know, as for myself, yes, I have depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. But there's some people, and I have friends that are too. I got a sister in Christ that is dealing with a real hard time right now. But there's some people out there that get depressed because you allow the world to depress you. The other night, I was watching the news, and there was some depressing stuff. Our local news here in West Virginia, and there was some stuff that really upset me. And I realized at that point, I can't allow this to happen. So I won't watch the news all the time. I mean, if I do, I'm giving it to God, because I start going to bed. I was worried about stuff. I said, God, you know, you didn't give me the spirit of fear. And God took it, and I was able to go to sleep. But, you know, we have to allow God to do what He needs to do in us. There's someone around us, and we're acting like the world. How are we showing them the love of God if we're being no different than they are? We're supposed to be children of God. We're supposed to show the love of God to everybody. We can't show the love if we're out there acting like the rest of the world. And you can't be of God. You can't allow the Spirit to move through you if you're listening to things. You know, you ever heard the old saying, you can't sit at God's table and holding hands with the devil. Well, you can't walk with God holding the devil's hand. You cannot do that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you eat it, it's gone. Okay? So remember this. If you're a child of God, then you need to totally surrender yourself to God. While you surrender yourself to God, you also surrender your family, your finances, everything it is you give it to God. And I'm telling you from experience, God has blessed us, okay? I mean, right now, I was going from payday to payday, and now I actually have a little bit of money to do me between paydays, because God has blessed us. You know, He has really blessed us. We got groceries in our house. We've got a bed to sleep in. Our bills are paid. You know, well, except for my power bill's got to be paid next payday. But I mean, you know, other than that, everything is paid. Everything's taken care of. And my car payment, I called and talked to people I got my car from and told them I was going to come and just pay it off on when I get my income tax between February and March. And they said, okay, that's fine. They wrote it on the folder. I'd be there to pay it off. It's not the first car I got from them, so they're okay with me, you know, making, because I'm like, I haven't made a payment since December, but they're not the kind of people that will come and get my car because they know I'm trying. They know I was in the hospital. And I mean, if you live in West Virginia and you want to deal with a truthful car lot, then, and it's in Ripley, it's called Ravenswood. It's in Ravenswood. It's called R&L. pre-owned cars. It's when you first go into Ravenswood. I gotta honestly give them a thumbs up. They are awesome. Um, they're nice, and they'll work with you. Right now, you have to have credit because they go through a credit company. I got the buy here, pay here situation. I don't know if they're still. I think they may be still doing it for some people, but not for all. But I actually went for last time, and God blessed me with last year with a 2007 model car, and it's to me it's like a brand new one. I mean, I've had it for almost a year, and it is. I'm happy to have it. I mean, I'm happy to have the car. I'm happy that God blessed me with, and I pray, plead the blood of Jesus over my car, my home, my brother, my cat, myself, our beds, our everything. I plead the blood of Jesus over this video. I plead the blood of Jesus that it reaches the ears that needs to hear it. Now, I'm not on here bragging, oh, I got this, I got that. No, I'm just telling you guys that God will bless you. You know how God, it says, you can't outgive God. Let me tell you what happened. Now, granted, I'm paying for it, but remember, too, God's given me the finances to be able to afford to pay it, okay? There was a lady that had to leave an abusive relationship, and she didn't have any furniture, and I gave her some furniture. And I gave her, for her children, I gave them a DVD VCR combo. I had that since '06. I had it almost 11 years, and I gave it to her because she needed something for her kids to watch, and I let them have it because I know kids need little things to entertain them. And I gave her a lamp, a couch, and 2 end tables, which I love the end tables, but I know that she needed them, so I gave them to her. And you know what God did for me? He blessed me with a sectional. And I like it better because it goes in the corner. It's like a little, I call it the cube sectional. Every piece of it comes apart, but it all slides together. And he gave me, I was able to get like an electrical fireplace that has what do you call it? It has the lights, the LED lights in it, and it's real pretty. And then, God just blesses us. He really does. And here where I live at, I don't have a lot of friends that come and see me, but that's okay, because I do have friends I call and talk to on the phone. I do want to let everyone know that we are having chat church tonight at www.tinychat.com/WATING number 4 Jesus 2015 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing a series from Billy Crone called In the Days of Noah. I started watching the first one last night, and so far I like it, which I do like Billy Crone's, video series as he does. He's a preacher from out in Nevada. I think it's Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's a younger man. He may be around younger than me or a little older than me. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he is an awesome Bible teacher, and I do believe that he does a good job. And but I wanted to get back to this before I end this video. Number one, if you want your children to be more obedient, if you want your children not to be cussing and acting like the world, and stop letting the world enter them, you can't do what you can't do what at school. You cannot guard your child at school, but you can guard them at home. And when you guard them at home with a good base of the Bible, and when your child goes to school, he's going to see the things that aren't up and aren't right. If you're giving your child godly music and saying this is what you need to be listening to, oh, it's too late, my children. No, it's never too late. Because you know what you do? You pray to God. God, give me the ability, give my children the want, the desire, and the need. Them children are a gift from God. God wants you to bring them up the way they should be brought up. And if you pray to Him, because that's faith, it's trusting God to work through you and through the things you put in your children's. It's like you want your children to eat a good, healthy meal. Well, you should want them also to have a good, healthy, godly environment at home. That way, if they have what they have at home, they're going to look for other places. And if they don't see it, then they're going to turn away from that worldly activity and stuff, and they're going to start looking, to other ways. If you let them have the world at your home and then they have it at school, well, you know what? You're leading your child into the chance that there's going to be drugs offered, and they'll be like, well, sure, I'll try it, because it seems fun. You know what happens? A lot of times children die because of drugs. Give your children life. Give them Jesus Christ. Give them the obedience that, you have. And if you have a problem with not being obedient to God, like with listening to rock music, you need to ask God to take the desire, the want, and the need for that away. I'm not bragging on myself. I'm not perfect. I mess up every day. But when I first came to the Lord in '08, I think that's when I really gave my life to God. He took all the rock and roll music out of my life. I have not listened. Well, I've had like rock music played where people send me a song or something, but and my flesh loves some of it. It does. I go to restaurants and stuff, and it's true what Paul Harvey said in that one video he done about if I was the devil, how would I trick people? And it's like putting circular music everywhere they go. Well, I went to one place here called Weston Sizzler. It's a steakhouse that you can have all you want to eat buffet. Well, it's like a salad bar thing, and I'm one that don't hardly eat much, so really to go to a place like that, it isn't worth it for me. I mean, it's cheap, it really isn't worth it because I might make one trip to the bar and that's it because I don't eat a lot. But anyway, like I was saying, they have music, worldly music playing from the '80s, and I don't like that. When I get in my car, I play totally, gospel music. Like right now, I think in my car, I think Jeremy Camp CDs in it. But most of the time, I have a group that I bought, or I got their CD when it came to the church, and they're a wonderful group. I love listening to them sing. Um, but anyway, getting back to what I was saying, brothers and sisters, you need to bring your children up in a godly format, in a godly home, and I pray that the Lord will help you. I know a lot of you are really tackling with the whole fact, how do I do this? How do I do that? Well, the way you do it is by allowing God to do it through you. As a child of God, we're supposed to allow God to lead, guide, direct, and protect us in everything we say and do, glorify Him. I love you all, and I pray that this video reaches the ears that need to hear it. God bless you, and keep looking out for our redemption draw tonight. God bless you. Love you. See you with Jesus soon. God bless. Bye.